Very first live show, and so please just be really gentle and kind to us in the comments below, because there are no doubt gonna be some things that are gonna go wrong. But Jay is also joining us on the ones and twos behind the camera. But yeah, we're gonna get into a little bit of some match reviews.
Yeah, it's gonna double match review. Unfortunately, we have to cover that 5-1 blowout at Chicago and a very frustrating 3-3 draw versus Red Bulls.
Indeed.
We're also gonna preview tonight's Open Cup matchup versus St. Louis FC.
Yep.
And everything in between.
Exactly. It'll be fantastic. We'll do some buy and sell as well, as you can see on this sidebar. But there's also some things to contend with. We're basically doing this so that we can start to maybe streamline our post-production process a little bit, because it takes a lot of effort, as does a lot of stuff on this channel.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to get that stuff quicker to you, and not have to dwell on it for much longer than we really need to.
And ideally, this frees us up to do other things like play FIFA with Tito.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we'll get to that later. But anyway, so we'll kind of briefly talk about these match reviews and get through them as quick as possible, because we don't really want to talk about them for that long, especially not the Chicago Fire match. Definitely not that one. But let's get right into it then. The Chicago Fire match, yes, it was a 5-1 capitulation.
Yeah, really.
We conceded 3 goals in the first 10 minutes.
5 goals in the first half.
Yeah, really, Nico Gaitan, the guy that just came from China, just completely tore us apart. Tore us a new one.
Listen, Gaitan has spent some time in Europe. That's a quality player, so we should have been expecting that somewhat. But he had free reign on the left wing. I think he had 2 assists on the night. It just...
Get 3 assists on the night.
Oh, excuse me. So many goals.
I think. Or 2 assists or in a goal. Whatever it was, he had a field day. And he set up the first goal by none other than Francisco Calvo, who demands respect from his time at Minnesota United.
Right.
And so it was kind of doubly like a dagger in the chest when he scored, for sure. Annoying, really. And and then CJ Sapong, the former Philadelphia Union guy.
I mean, like, you hear that name, it's not spectacular, and then but there he is firing into the back of your net. He had a brace on the night as well.
And then also LGP very quickly gets a red card with his handball in the box.
I don't know about the call, but they saw something. They felt like he intentionally handled it, whatever that means.
Yeah, I mean, he went to ground, and that's just when it's dangerous, when your arm's dragging and your hand it just pops up. I mean, it's fair. Yeah. And so it's it's annoying, of course, that we not only get that double jeopardy, almost triple jeopardy, because
they score.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the likelihood of us actually coming back was pretty low. Yeah. But Frank
pretty much dead when we went to 10-man, which I think is why Petey came out soon after that.
Yeah, it seems like that's what the case was. Frank de Boer was pretty much trying to save him for the weekend. Yeah. And I mean, was it effective? I mean, not really.
We'll get into that too.
Yeah. But in terms of we still shipped 2 more goals in the first half. They did pretty much, it's just not spectacular in terms of defense. No. Since the break, since we've come back, it's been kind of horrendous defending.
Kind of a shit show, really. I mean, with that Chicago match, I think you have to recognize that Chicago, they do have attacking quality. They have like very good forwards. We mentioned Gaitan, there's Katai, there's Nikolic, who didn't even start this match.
Exactly, and then when you have Schweinsteiger playing in the back, and you have
I think their approach was naive going into this match. Really, they're on the road. It's a team that you've already beaten this season. They want to get one over you. Yeah. You've got to survive that initial wave. Shipping 3 goals in 10 minutes is not doing that. And it's just awful approach all around, I think. And De Boer kind of lit into him for it.
Yeah, and so at halftime he apparently said that I mean you should be ashamed, embarrassed really, and so if you want to
show some balls, some honor,
which was I mean great in theory to say, but I think it's also it's the choice that he with the 11 is just. It was perplexing as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's definitely defensive, but they weren't at the same time. They weren't defensive enough.
Exactly. It's almost too defensive when you have guys that can't be on the ball as much as you want them to, and then with the setup and the mindset to really try to play out still. And it's just you're gonna get eaten alive when you don't have the ball and you're caught up far forward.
Yeah,
it's just
or caught in your own half.
Yeah, and or you can't even stop a kind of pretty much at your feet cross.
Oh yeah, LGB. That was not a great moment for him. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, and so there's countless errors in this, not just individual errors.
Yeah.
And so not a ton to grab from in terms of positives, but at least in the second half, Miles Robinson makes a ridiculous forward run.
Yeah. Is he a center back or is he just like a fantastic
he's just a fantastic all around athlete. Clearly, he was like a gazelle, and at some point, it's like you had to do a triple take, just like. Is that Robinson?
Yeah.
Is he what? And then he makes the cross.
Yeah.
It's like what?
No, he gets fouled for the penalty.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Exactly right. Exactly.
The whole thing though. I was watching. I was like, wait, who came on? Is that Pereira? Like, I didn't know what was going on.
Exactly. And so and Brandon Vasquez puts away the goal, and so at least for in terms of what I think in terms of for Vasquez, it's good to see him hit the back of the net against an MLS side.
Yes.
Because for one thing, I mean, that just boosts his confidence. And, well, he didn't get to play really, too much in terms of far forward over the weekend. But I think if he plays tonight against St. Louis FC, then that just kind of boosts his confidence even more.
He did come in at a key moment, though, in that match. And you could say that he helped turn that match around. Talking about the Red Bulls match, that is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
So,
but he didn't get his goal, but of course, it's that wasn't his role.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But in terms of, so that's probably the lone positive of this match is that, we kept them off the board, but at the end of the day, they sat back. They pretty much sat on their laurels.
Saved their legs, yeah. I mean, the job was done at 5-0, obviously. So.
Right. And so in terms of that, it's something that we want to get over quick, but you hope that the team is just watching those plays on replay in the locker room and, in the video room and just making sure that these mistakes don't happen again, but it didn't really happen over the weekend. Didn't seem like it actually took.
No.
So against the New York Red Bulls at Mercedes-Benz Stadium to I think 68,000 people that paid in attendance. I mean it was a very entertaining game for the neutral.
Yeah, I mean, great for MLS to put
on
it
a great soccer Sunday.
Exactly, yeah. So this was a showcase match that came on after the women's final.
Yeah.
I actually went to the stadium early, watched the women's final. If you were there with me, it's a great atmosphere.
Exciting match as well. Yeah. And especially, big shout out to the U.S. women's national team for, doing what they do. But pretty much at this point, winning trophies. I mean, it's just fantastic to see. Get that 4th star on there.
Yeah.
Love it.
Gotta get that jersey for sure.
Yeah. But, in terms of this Red Bull match, we start off pretty decently.
I mean, PD finds Miram. You love seeing the confidence from Miram. That first touch takes him inside his defender, and he's in on goal. The cool finish, all of it. You love what we're getting from Miram right now. He's one of the bright spots for really since he's joined the team. I mean,
right. And who would have expected, especially his form at Orlando City, his form at Columbus Crew.
What did Atlanta pay for him?
Yeah, $100,000 in GAM and a second-round Super Draft pick.
So a bag of Doritos?
Yeah, a bag of Doritos and some socks.
Yeah,
exactly. It's not very much, and so he is already overperforming what his expectations are, and that's fantastic, of course. But so in terms of the start, it's good, but that's when we start to have that shaky defense rear its ugly head again.
Absolutely. And so I got to give Guzan some stick for his distribution on the first goal. He put Ambrose in a tough spot. Ambrose loses it. There we are, losing the ball in our own third.
Yeah.
And Red Bulls capitalize. I mean, it's pass, shot, goal. And that's what they do. And they've done this to us multiple times. I'm tired of seeing us give away the ball against Red Bulls, especially in our own half. That's a no. It can't. And so Guzan, you also got to recognize that Ambrose is his first start in months.
Yeah.
So you gotta give the guy some slack, like maybe not put him in a tough position like that.
Right, and he got a lot of stick from fans afterwards. But I think, you have to kind of chalk that down to it's his first match back in MLS for a long time.
Yeah.
And then not only that, he has to play against Red Bulls where he doesn't even get any time, any freedom to play out.
No. He has to get up the wing. He has to help the team out as the fullbacks do in this system. It's a tough ask.
That is a extremely tough ask. And so I think, Mikey Ambrose, you take his performance with a grain of salt here for sure. But Joseph Martinez finally being back. Fantastic, because he pretty much was trying to will us to this win. And kind of like I mentioned in the fan cams, it was kind of reminiscent of that 3-3 2017 Orlando City match at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where he scored that hat trick and he was just trying to will us, and it just didn't happen.
This match was, I gotta say, was pretty dour. I would say through 60 minutes, Red Bulls were dominating. At that point, they had twice as many shots as Atlanta.
Yeah.
They had lots of shots on goal. The only reason I had any hope at all was because of Joseph. I just felt like Joseph might do something.
He pulls out that magic.
Yeah, and he wins a penalty, and he wins it through pure effort. We saw this happen with the U.S. women multiple times. They had a few penalty calls go their way because they were just first to the ball. Yeah. Sometimes soccer is that simple, and Joseph, you get that effort. He wins the penalty. He obviously buries it like he always does. We're tied. We're in the game, and then what happens?
Yeah, and then it goes on for a minute. We get all the way to stoppage time, and all the while
Guzan had a big save.
That's true. But all the while, it's a really chippy match. It's a match where Larry, does some questionable things, but also maybe some of the dark arts and maybe some commendable, really, I should probably things. Sure. But Joseph Martinez, he scores a brilliant header, just the wherewithal to be able to score from the back of the head to the other side.
And it's a good service.
Back post.
Yeah, it's a good service by Escobar, but it's also between two Red Bulls defenders. He's got to get up. He's got to loop that header over.
Yeah.
He kisses it in off the crossbar. It's beautiful. It's so deserving to be a game-winning goal.
But we switch off, and it's been the case pretty much for the last maybe 4 games.
Yeah.
Where we get all high from this, from a goal and from just the good times of scoring, and it's and then
not so much.
Automatically you capitulate. And just how easy this ball slices through us is what is perturbing, really.
That's really, because when you see it live and you see it trickle through, you're like, okay. When I saw the replay, it's a nothing ball. Yeah. He's not even looking.
Speculative. Yeah.
At best, he's not looking for anybody. And who's open? Yeah. Bradley Wright Phillips. He's a veteran striker in this league. He's just come on. How does he have that much time? Right. How does that ball get through?
And that's what happens is, you can't switch off against some of the best teams in the league. And no doubt about it, wherever New York Red Bulls are in the league, it's a red herring at this point because they are, they need to be higher. They are higher. And at least in the power rankings, they're at least 5th. So for MLS anyway. And
listen, the standings might be lying to us a little bit because they are behind us, but they're on the same amount of games and only 2 points behind us. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so, this is that type of match where it just it frustrates an Atlanta United fan, probably a New York Red Bull fan as well to no end, because they probably feel like they had some points where they could have won this match.
They dominated this match. They dominated good periods of this match.
Yeah, and you could have argued that us getting up, we were absolutely thrilled.
Yeah.
It's just that moment where we capitulate that third goal, and we both walk away with a point, which I think at the end of the day, if we circled it on a calendar, it's like, okay, that's probably, a draw is actually pretty decent because we haven't beaten them.
Hell, if you look at the statistics from the match, it's an even match. But when you're up with 4 minutes less than to go, it's inexcusable.
Right. And in terms of the ref in this match as well, there's a lot to pick at for sure. And I think, in the interest of wanting to move on quickly, we won't get into a ton of it. But he, at the end of the match, he goes into the locker room and he gives Larry a red card for the stomp that probably was deserved for that dude, because he was starting a lot of shit. I mean,
If this is the same guy who's getting into it with Gressel and others, then sure. No love lost, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's playing the dad, I guess, and he's just,
At least Larry doesn't play as much this season, so it's not a huge loss per se.
Yeah, and he could play tonight against St. Louis FC in that instance. So I mean, not all is bad, but it's three games that he misses, and so in that sense.
We're missing depth.
Yeah, we're missing depth, especially with 9 games in a month. So not fantastic time to do this. If he had done this maybe in June, it would have been different.
Right.
But so anyway, New York Red Bulls. I mean, they just they're just still the thorn in our side that we haven't beaten in the regular season, but. We still have Astorp, so at the end of the day, it's what it is. We still lifted a trophy on your grounds.
Yeah.
So, up into or getting into the post-match quotes, then, Frank de Boer, he had a reason to take PT off a little bit early.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead.
Yeah, sure. It's.
Pardon us. Yeah. These are the perils of going live. Anyway.
Right. I would say defending starts up front. You cannot blame the defenders. It's the whole team. It's all a team effort. I think we have to understand that. I want not 10 or 9 or 8 who work hard. Everybody has to work, especially in these kinds of games, these very difficult games. Obviously, 10 would be all outfield players unless you can include the goalkeeper.
Of course.
But basically, so PD...
Yeah, no, and so PT being taken off, I mean, it was because apparently what Frank de Boer said, he wasn't winning the duels in midfield, even though when Brandon Vasquez came on, it wasn't exactly he was winning the ball all the time, but he was putting off defenders and getting the ball out of play, out of bounds, and so that it wouldn't be just a quick counter.
Yes.
Because that's what was slicing us open. A direct call from New York Red Bulls is super deadly.
And that's the thing I think that frustrated me most about PD, and I think we should break down his performance. We talk about him so much, but beating defenders one-on-one off the dribble in space is something I expect him to be able to do, and he just wasn't doing it. Time and again he got tackled. And it's an instant turnover in the middle of the field. You're immediately back defending. So players who maybe were making a run have to now retreat. It's kind of frustrating for everyone involved.
Yeah, and during the first half, it was definitely a lot better than what we've usually seen. He actually had a really, really good first half, especially on the counter. That's really how we were doing really well. But I think it was in the second half. That was when he started maybe doing some back heels, some dummies that really weren't coming off, and that's where. Yeah, it was maybe becoming like it's been a pattern, a little bit of a liability on the pitch. Now, it doesn't mean that he's not going to come good or any of that type of stuff. It's just, this month's worth or at least season's worth of adjustment period for him. It's still been an adjustment period.
Yeah, and that's the pattern. He gives us about an hour and then he kind of has to be taken off. He's just not as effective. It's not just, and look, we know the talent's there, but I think Frank de Boer has to go with the here and now, go with informed players, and so play PD as you have to, but also take him off, rest him when you have to. I mean, and we'll see with tonight, but
exactly. And another post-match quote. I'll let you grab that one as well.
Sure.
Joseph Martinez.
On how he feels about being back. Happy because I'm seeing my family. That's what makes me happy now.
He just always knows how to tug at those heartstrings.
He really does. The mood is different when Joseph is there. It has to be said. I mean, I remember after the match, he went all around. He applauded everyone in attendance. Very classy from him. It just, I just feel so gutted for him personally. When he scored that goal, how I felt, how we felt at that moment. It's like we finally get one, and our boy is back.
Yeah.
And it's only for a point, but the performance I think is very encouraging, and that gives me optimism going forward at the very least.
Because he's kind of the almost kind of leader by example in that sense, emotional leader probably.
Exactly, yeah.
Because when he's on the pitch, something's going to happen, something magical could happen. He just has this way of just creating something out of nothing, or just being so ice cold in front of goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even occupying defenders. I would argue on that first goal, Joseph occupied a couple of defenders. That's how Marion was able to be one-on-one. He's so important to this team.
Agreed. So anyway, that wraps up a bow on both of those matches, and we'll just try to forget about them now because it's just goodbye.
Yeah.
But let's just try to get some better results this month. But let's get into the news then and into the standings. And so, there's, less than desirable results recently.
Sure.
But, we're still only 6 points from the top of Philadelphia Union, who, we have 2 games in hand on.
It was a fortunate weekend, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Union, DC, NYC, Red Bulls, before the Atlanta match had heavy loss as well. Everybody dropped points, and so first place is still within reach if this team can buckle down, defend better, get healthy, and put some results together. I mean, I don't know if I have the faith in us to do that at the moment, but it's there. They can do it. First place is still all but attainable.
Yeah, and I think that just speaks to the mediocrity that is the East right now. I don't think many are going to catch up to LAFC at this moment with their record-setting pace and Carlos Vela just playing out of his mind. And so, I mean, it's one of those, though, we still need to get a high seed so that we don't have to play a New York Red Bulls on the road or something like that.
I mean, it's only one leg this year instead of 2 legs in the playoffs, and our road form is not brilliant.
It's not, and then, or even, playing at DC at Audi Field.
Oof.
I mean, these are, or even playing a Toronto at BMO Field. These are house of horrors. And so,
Stop reminding me. God.
But anyway, let's move on to something a little bit more happy then.
Yes.
So George Campbell, the new signing this week. We've had a new signing in multiple weeks now. Yay! But, so George Campbell, he is now our 6th homegrown. He signs a contract with the first team, and I mean,
he started at Georgia United with Tony Annan, so Tony Annan knows him pretty well.
Exactly.
He's played a lot with AU2. It's nice to see players coming through the pipeline, if you will, and hopefully he features for the first team maybe next year, maybe sooner than that.
His actual contract starts in January of 2020, and so he can continue to play with the Atlanta United 2, with Atlanta United 2, and so it will really, I think, further his development because, he had committed to Maryland, and, I think any sort of, if you're trying to compare it, Atlanta United 2 versus Maryland, we want him at Atlanta United 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we can control his minutes, we can control his fitness, he can play with the first team in training and whatnot, and maybe even feature, especially in some of the games if we need him, which maybe we might need him because of these crazy things that keep happening to our defensive line in terms of not only injuries or whatnot. Suspensions, exactly. So we need all the hands that we can get. Anyway, let's move on to Kate Parker's daughter, Alice, who's an impressive little songbird who sang the national anthem at the Red Bulls match. I mean, my God.
It was a tearjerker. I'm
Seriously.
not gonna lie.
I said to my girlfriend at the match, if this doesn't get you up for the match, I don't know what will. Because I got inspired. I wanted to lace them up, get cleated, and let's go. But
she was so brave and so courageous with it. She had so much swagger with the song. It was amazing. She was what, 7?
I have no idea.
Incredible.
She's a youngin', so it was just amazing that she that voice was coming out of that little person. But and so let's move on to some of the suspension and injury report things. And so LGP, his suspension is done, so that's fantastic. We sorely missed him, I think.
I think so. Yeah,
even though against Chicago it was not fantastic and whatnot, you still you would rather have him out there.
Especially when Pogba came out of the match and Parker came in. I think Red Bulls really targeted that side of the defense. And Pogba was a big miss.
And speaking of,
he's going to miss more games, unfortunately. Let's say about 3 weeks out with a hamstring injury.
Indeed.
That's why he came out early versus Red Bulls.
And especially, Frank de Boer was saying that it was probably the workload was too much. He had played essentially 3 games in a row, hadn't really played as many games, really many games at all before that. And so, it's kind of damning on Frank de Boer that he had to put him out there, even though I think I see why you risk him, but it's really, and he was playing really well.
Yeah, he was
against Red Bulls. And really, he's played really well since he's really, come into any of the games, but it's such a shame.
I think the coach has to take some grief, though, for the minutes management, because he started against Montreal, and he started against Red Bulls, and he started against...
he came in, because of LGP as well, against Chicago Fire.
Ah, right,
so that's why, his workload was a little heavier than he's used to.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it's going to be tough because he probably is that at least third center back, probably.
I think so. And he's a natural replacement for LGP as well, which is why I think he started against Red Bulls.
Right.
But so, it is kind of a huge miss, actually, that another 3 weeks when we have a million matches.
Yeah, it would have been perfect to have him, and it is what it is at this point now. We'll have to make do without him. Yeah. But guys, let's get to buy or sell. And so this is a little game that we like to play now you basically have to decide if you buy or sell the certain topic. And that first topic is with that PT rumor from TYC Sports that said that he could be moved or loaned. And, that was quickly debunked by also Frank DeBoer, also Darren Eales. Do you buy or sell that we should loan PT Martinez this season?
I may buy it. I'm gonna buy it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna buy it till the end of the season because we have Miram who's come in and done well. We should hopefully have Barco back soon, Tito back eventually. We've signed Hyman who can play in that line, and so it becomes a question of if Petey gets squeezed out because of form or what have you, it might make sense to loan him out till the end of the season. Maybe hopefully he can get resettled, come back in 2020, come back stronger for the team. I'm gonna buy it.
Okay, I'm gonna sell it because it's just one of those things where I think optics-wise, it's a little dangerous to be loaning out a player within the 6-month period. Not only that, you want to recoup as much money as possible, but at the end of the day, you still have to think about results.
Yeah.
And I think he can, contribute to the results that we want. It's just a matter of if he needs to be benched or substituted earlier, then let it happen as much as possible. So that we get the best 11 on the pitch as much as possible. So I think for me, it's dangerous to do that with a player that you just brought in, especially at a record fee, especially I think also with his fragile mindset. I would say, and that's maybe a little bit harsh, but
sure.
He's
in a vulnerable place. Let's say.
Yeah, exactly. And so to put him in that type of situation where it's like, oh, you know what, you just came in, but we are going to loan you. For me, it's tough. And
I would talk to him. See how he feels.
I respect that you want to buy that, but excuse me. But and so. Next topic is, Flo's brother, Paul Pogba, has been running and training around in an Atlanta United kit.
Yeah, in NYC,
NYC, and it's pretty awesome to see, I think. But do you buy or sell that this is just a giant tease and he should stop?
Paul Pogba's agent talking about him leaving Manchester United. Maybe he's coming to it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Paul Pogba will be in Atlanta for one reason or another. That's what I'm taking about this.
Because of his brother. Right? That's the only reason. But in terms of that, I think
that's what I buy.
Yeah,
it's a giant tease.
It's a giant tease. Well, maybe it's not even a tease really for me. I sell that it's a tease. I think he's just supporting his brother.
Yeah.
And there may be some speculation if he's going to Juve, if he's going somewhere else. He's
Madrid.
Madrid. If he's leaving Manchester United. Tanner likes to think that he's probably going to be staying. I mean, it's our resident Man United, expert in that sense.
No comments.
I would probably think that, I know. In terms of Pogba, he definitely is maybe a little wants away, but whether he can actually secure that move away, that's a whole other thing. But it definitely will not be at Atlanta United. And so, last buy or sell, Atlanta United 2. Okay. So they had their last match postponed to rain or for rain against Charleston Battery. So there wasn't a result there, but they still have not won a match in a few months. Do you buy or sell that we should start to worry that they have not won a match in that long?
I would worry about the mood of the team. I think that, no matter what kind of project or setup, or let's say you go into season rebuilding, results still affect the players. And so for them, I would worry a little bit. I think the coach has a big task in terms of keeping their heads in the game, keeping them motivated, in training and whatnot. And so that's the only reason I buy it. I understand why the results are happening. I think we do. And this is also only the second year of this team. It's still a project that we're working on. It's not as established as like a Red Bulls 2 or a Timbers 2 or whatever. So, but for the players, I do worry. Yeah, I worry a little bit for them. That's yeah.
I mean, I think I sell that we should start to worry now. But at the end of the season, if we're dead last and it's like you don't see any improvement from the guys that are in the team, and you don't see like Miles Robinson pretty much was really kind of breaking through because of his play at Atlanta United 2, and they weren't really good last year either.
Sure.
And so you kind of have that where not every single result is tied to performance, and so you can have guys that have good performances in Atlanta United 2 matches, and it's still you maybe ship 3 goals and you lose, but maybe they're at least learning from those lessons and they can start to be seasoned professionals in that sense of being able to deal with adversity.
Yeah.
So, So anyway, it's time to plug some of our new stuff that we've been producing with 5 Stripe 5 with Jay Riddle. Shout out to our boy there.
Yep.
With some really, really dope stuff at his studio. And if you haven't checked it out yet, it's 5 topics. In a really short amount of time.
Yeah.
We're not going to be married to that 5 minutes.
Yeah. But yes, it's a digestible amount of time.
Exactly.
Something on the go. Let's say you're at work, you pull out YouTube real quick.
Indeed. And, 5 topics that you might want and need to know about, whether you like it or not. Also, Squad Goals with Tito Villalba came out. If you haven't checked it out, check it out in the card up to the right. But, there's a signed Tito Villalba kit with, with the winner who actually, it's going to be a different contest when we get to 10,000 views on YouTube. So, it's just
get us there, though.
Help us get there because, creating and, just producing this content takes a lot of time. And, we really want to keep making more for you. And so our goal is just to kind of get to a certain number, and so we can start pushing out to not only sponsors, but some, things that can help us produce the content that we want to make for you guys.
Yeah, and we'll be able to do that full time, ideally, hopefully.
Yeah, and so, keep doing that for us. And, we will love you forever. We already love you forever anyway, but, it's just cherry on top anyway. Yeah. So anyway, guys, you can send in your questions in the live chat. We're going to get into the mailbag where you guys send in these questions through IG story. Please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. But we'll answer those questions right after we answer these mailbag questions from Instagram story. So first question comes from Sam Holloman 7. How did we defend so well on our 5-game shutout streak, and now our defense is in shambles?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. Certainly the opponents, I think maybe may have been getting let off a little bit in those games. But the defense did seem like they had something figured out. But, Toronto, I think Chicago, certainly has better talent than they get credit for. And then a team like Red Bulls, they tend to expose us. If we're going to be honest, they have our number for a reason. They knew exactly where to attack. They knew how to get us, when to get us. Yeah. So I think it's the quality opponents more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's like in 2017 or even 2018, we were flat track bullies. We beat up on teams that we should have beat up on, and then we weren't doing too hot against some of the better performing sides or the sides that were kind of near the top of the conference. And so I think, this is a little bit of a case of that because, some of the patterns were apparent. I think we just got away with a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, like a team like Montreal, for example, we beat. They had their chances. They just didn't take them.
Exactly. And so that's kind of, I think, where this stems from. It's unfortunate. And, we got to figure out something quick. Yeah. Because this is, I don't think a lot of the fans can really stomach this entire month if this happens. But next question comes from Nijaz. If Emerson Heineman performs tonight, should he get an MLS start?
Yeah, somewhere along the line, I think so. I mean, like next week we have 3 MLS games in 1 week. So I think there would definitely be opportunities for him too. And if he shows well, I mean, like I said before, the boys got to count on informed guys. We can have our goals for the end of the season and for next season and so on. We got to win matches now, and we have the players. If we have the players here now to help us do so, then yes. So Hyman, if he does well, sure, give him a start.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's I think you want him to perform as well as possible, of course, but you have the other aspect of he maybe lacks maybe a little bit of match fitness too.
Sure.
And so, I hope he can. It's just a matter of how fit is he to be able to do so, and does he have to come off a little earlier and whatnot just to kind of build that. So, next question comes from ATL UTD 23. What should we call the NWSL team if we got one in Atlanta?
Oh man, I put a lot of thought into this.
Oh yeah? Okay, what do you got?
Well, so I think it would be really cool if it could be Atlanta United. Just the whole.
Yeah, the whole as a club structure. Sure.
Yeah, but if they may not let us do that actually, NWSL. I like Phoenix personally. You know what?
I think a lot of us probably have that in mind.
Yeah, it's a bird, the fire, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the roots of Atlanta for sure. You kind of took mine, and so.
Man, I'm sorry.
It's all good though. So I think I mean for me, I think it's the same. It's one of those if something more creative comes along or something like that, if we are allowed to give another nickname for the team, then okay. But. I think either way, it's one of those we would love to see one come up very, very soon.
Absolutely.
Because I think you see that the talent is there, and you want to see that momentum being carried on, especially from just this type of performance from the ladies in the World Cup.
That's the thing. This pool is so deep. Like there are great players who didn't even make the roster. Who are still holding it down in NWSL, and then you have internationals like Sam Kerr, who play in this league. It's a great league. I would love Atlanta to be a part of it. I would love to go to NWSL games. I'd love to go to the Bends, actually. I hope they play in the Bends, too.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of if they can, because, I think attendance will definitely matter, and if they play at Fifth Third, then, I think you'll see that, it might be troublesome to get people there. I mean, it is what it is.
We'll see.
But last question from IG Story comes from Eduardo V14. Do you think PT plays more comfortably when Barco plays?
I can buy that. Yeah, I think that Barco. I think I've said this multiple times. Barco is our best player, and I think he's the key to this season going well for Atlanta. And so if he comes back and he has all the attention, he takes more of the ball and responsibility, then I think PT could actually do well in a role where maybe he's not as dependent on, but maybe where he can isolate players and take them on and contribute, so to speak.
Yeah, I think definitely during this season, I think there are some times where they end up on the same part of the pitch because they if Barco plays on the left, he cuts in. If PT plays on in the middle, he starts to drift left a little bit, and you have those issues. But I think at the end of the day, when it was Barco in the middle and PT on the right, I think you saw that to great effect because Barco has that work rate and he can last the entire 90 playing that way, and PT Martinez can kind of do what he does and kind of drift in and out of matches, and so it actually allows it to be a little bit more fluid. I think it is much better when Barco and PT play together for sure. At least this season. Who knows about next season? Because who knows if Barco's going to be there? But so okay, here's our questions from the chat. Thank you, Jay, for picking these out.
Thank you guys for submitting them. Please continue.
Indeed. Yes, thank you very much. What is the chance of a repeat this point? What is the chance of a repeat this point in the season? From Connor Chung.
I'm gonna put it at let's say 20%. I think that our saving grace is that first place in the East is still attainable. And if we can have home field advantage until the championship game, it bodes well. And if you go into that final with some momentum, let's say against LAFC, maybe but it's not looking great though. It's not looking great to repeat this season. We should still at least be a playoff team. Beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah, of course, it'd be fantastic if we won again. And I think with the crapshoot that is the playoffs now, I think you might be able to see if, we are playing at home, we might be able to get on a run. And if we peak at the right time, you never know. You never know what could happen. This next one, I don't know if it might give away what the match preview is, so maybe I'll skip this one.
We got you, though.
Yeah. And so next question comes from FaZe Atlanta United. Will Ambrose start it Parkhurst?
I guess
will start over Parkhurst?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it also is. I know these two questions are pretty much. The other one was about Hyman, who he replaces tonight. Okay, we're gonna save that for the match preview.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
We got you.
But okay, next question comes from Amir B. So you think Vasquez will start based on his form, or will Joseph take his place? Also another match preview question. All right, guys, we'll answer this one.
Yeah.
Because I actually will not be sticking around for the match preview, so I will give my revealing answer and spoil it, but you can hold off.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. So in terms of Vasquez and starting over Joseph, I think it's tough here. Yeah, I mean Joseph just came back, and you don't really want to kind of rush him into too many games. I think you do see Brandon Vasquez start this match. And if you need a goal later on, then you bring Joseph in. I think you've seen that Brandon Vasquez can play at least the USL level, and that's definitely what this level is against St. Louis FC. But they will be very, very difficult to break through. And so, hopefully it is a Brandon Vasquez that is just always on his horse and harrying any person that has the ball on the opposition. And, I think maybe he can bag a goal that way.
I think what I will say Sunday, I think, was a huge vote of confidence in his favor, and I think probably his most significant minutes. He came into a match that Atlanta United were losing, and he helped them turn it around. Yep. And I think that faith from De Boer to take out, in theory, his best attacking player for Vasquez. I think, and so I back him to have an impact tonight.
Okay, yeah. And so last question from the chat. It's from Joseph Gilbert. How do you feel about Campeones Cup later this year?
Man, honestly, I just want trophies at this point. With the Shield seeming out of touch and MLS Cup being a stretch, I'm taking any trophies, man. So Campeones Cup, I think it might come at a good time. Yeah. We might need a win against some stiff Mexican competition could do well for the team's psyche.
Whether we can actually beat them is a whole different story. Right. It's going to be very, very stiff competition, like you were mentioning. I think at this point, it's also, it's a trophy, but it's one of those kind of trophies where it's like a community shield in the Prem. It's not exactly, I believe it's in its second year. It's another trophy in the cabinet if we can win it. And
I will say, though, the Mexican fans come out. I went to that Monterrey match.
You might be outnumbered if we don't.
Exactly, because when I went to that Monterrey match, they were on show, Mexico versus Venezuela in the Benz with a great atmosphere. I think this could be a really good, exciting atmosphere, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think either way we should pack out the Benz because I think it'll be a great time. I think melding the cultures together. It might be some great surround sound action with the supporters for both sides, and it'll be fantastic. So, actually, before the match preview, I'm gonna hop out. We're gonna take a quick break because I'm gonna handle the social media tonight, and so we need to switch the chairs and make that happen. So, do your thing, Jay, and we'll see you really, really quickly.
welcome back, guys. And tagging in is J Real. Tag in, Jay.
Boom.
Boom. In.
That's how we do it.
And
it's magic.
So we're going to preview tonight's quarterfinal Open Cup match against St. Louis FC. St. Louis, the match starts at 7:30-ish, probably about 7:40.
Yeah, depending if there's 17 lightning delays. Right, so we'll see you at 11:30, guys.
Yeah. It's at Fifth Third Bank in Kennesaw. Some of you may be out there.
Or AKA Slip and Slide Stadium now with their new turf. So great job on that, guys.
Yeah. And it's going to be a tricky matchup. I mean, look, it's a quarterfinal. It's been a huge field, narrowed down to 8 teams. I don't think we can take anybody lightly at this point. St. Louis, they have knocked out FC Cincinnati. They've knocked out Chicago en route to this point.
Now let's get this straight. Knocking out FC Cincinnati is not like they knocked out, LAFC here. So, but 2 MLS teams. So
2 MLS teams that we've struggled with.
And they did beat Atlanta United 2 in April, 2-0, which isn't difficult this season with the way things have been going. But play the kids. They're getting better out there. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a physical match.
I think so, yeah.
Especially if there's a little bit of weather and stuff. These USL teams, this is huge for them.
Exactly.
Right? The only other USL team left is New Mexico, I think. Mexico United.
Yeah.
So that's it. So this is all that's left, and so they're going to take this very, very seriously.
Yeah.
And when they took out FC Cincinnati, it was like on this pitch with no lines and all this stuff. So the advantage here is that we actually have lines on the field. So I think I put us over the top because we have lines on the field.
It's like bad news beer situation. They're just like coming in out of nowhere. They're gonna go to the final. No. We're gonna win. But so they come in.
As long as we do the V formation, Mighty Ducks. Yeah, that's what I predict is going to happen.
But yes, they are a physical team. They're great on set pieces. They're dangerous down their right side. Russell Cicerone, their right winger.
That's not his name, is it?
It is. It absolutely is. It's written here, so it must be.
Cicerone. I love that. I bet they have a great chant for that guy. They have what they did a tifo, like a box of macaroni, but it says Cicerone. I don't know. Anyways.
So our left side needs to be alert again. And they are managed by Anthony Pulis, the son of Tony Pulis. You might know Tony Pulis from Stoke City fame, or pretty much
any... How crazy is that? Like what? Like when did this happen?
Yeah, I will say, like, it's impressive the kind of talent and managers that USL teams can get. I mean, the son of a is he still managing? Is Tony Pulis still managing? I don't think so, but.
He's always being, rumored with some other team. And when I remember his name would always come up when there would be rumors for like a coach for Atlanta United. Right? Maybe Tony Pulis is interested. Yeah. Well, we don't need him. We have his son. We would just hire his son, obviously.
Right. Yeah.
It's cheaper, anyways.
Maybe our defense would actually be good. So and so I think we have a big task tonight. I think it's gonna be tough. It's.
I think the main issue is we haven't had a lot of consistency in terms of lineup. I mean, rotation is good when it's you making the decisions, but we've had injuries and other things going on that have consistently affected. I think it's starting to show with our defense. Yeah. And I always thought these clean sheets were. I mean, granted, statistics are, the numbers don't lie. We got a clean sheet, but there were times where I thought teams had just bad misses. They should have put it. They were right in. They should have scored it. Things like that, where I think we got very lucky sometimes.
Absolutely,
and now I think that's showing that lack of consistency. And now with Pogba out, I mean, granted, LGP can play in this game, right?
Yeah.
So that's a positive.
LGP's back, but then it's Miles has been playing every game. So do you start him again, even though we have 3 MLS matches?
We don't want a Gressel situation where he wears down and he can't do anything, and his performances get affected.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult. I don't know if we'll see him rested or not this time around. Who do you put in there? And I guess we could talk about that. In a bit,
we will in a minute. Yeah, but I think the key to the game for us is. We have to match their work rate. They're going to come out. They really want this. I think they have more motivation going into this than we do, maybe. And so we have to make sure.
All the pressure's on us.
Yeah. I mean, we're the home team. We're the big MLS team. We're expected to win, but St. Louis is not going to be thinking that. And so we have to match their work rate. We have to limit their crosses. We don't want too many balls coming in, especially with insecurity in terms of who's starting in defense. We want to make sure that we're at least limiting the work.
If we lose this game, I guarantee it'll be on set pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Absolutely.
how they've been knocking out these teams. So
set pieces and crosses.
Yeah, exactly. So typical Pula style, right? Right. Defend. Get a corner kick, score a header.
Hey,
right?
teams have a DNA, and apparently they have theirs.
Yep. So hey, it works for them, and it's gotten them this far.
Yep. Who's gonna start up top? Who plays at the 10? Will PD start? We'll get into that. We have an idea of who we think will start. Do we prioritize the Open Cup, or do we try to play a strong side for Melissa Mass, substitute out later? Would you line up kind of a B team tonight?
In the past, I would have said absolutely, but at this point, we've made the quarterfinals. We have to take it seriously.
Yeah.
I think you've got to put together the strongest lineup you can with, especially, there's no excuses at this point. I mean, I know we have a heavy run of matches coming with MLS, but eventually, Barco's going to return.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Tito's probably a longer delay.
Sure.
But Barco should hopefully be back soon. We have, hopefully the Pogba hamstring isn't too serious. Yeah, you never know with those situations. But you just got to go all out. I don't see how you could do it any other way at this point. I know some people take the cup more seriously than others, less seriously than others. I'm not really like, U.S. Open Cup.
Sure.
I enjoy the matches. They're intimate, especially at Kennesaw.
Yeah.
I really enjoy watching those types of cup tournaments because just wacky things happen.
Yeah.
So from that aspect and entertainment value, I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not always a huge fan in terms of using up resources and
playing on substandard fields.
But man, we got just crush St. Louis, please. 5-0. Like I don't want to see this 1-0 either. If we win, I want to just completely bury them.
I think so. I mean, I'm generally for winning matches, and taking every competition seriously. And I think especially right now, these, we've had two devastating losses.
Confidence.
Exactly, two devastating losses in the last week. A really frustrating draw. I think that getting knocked out by a USL side would do so much harm for the team right now in their confidence. I think we need this win. And this is our best chance to win a trophy. It's 3 matches left, I mean, and the next match is in August. The final theoretically would be in September. We can get through that,
Yeah.
I think that, yes, the here and now, you take care of business tonight. I would love to see 3 or 4 goals tonight.
And I can see all the CCL fans, for those of you that are still out there, after CCL destroyed us and the Red Bulls and everyone else and killed our MLS season in the beginning. But, there's obviously a big carrot at the end of this, which is getting a potential CCL spot again. So
listen, I'm still a fan. I still want international competition.
Yeah.
I still want to match up against some Liga MX teams. So bring it.
Yeah. Well, now we know what'll happen. We know it'll impact the beginning of our season and will be terrible. So you just need to make sure that you kill it at the end of the season.
Right, exactly.
So just, have that in mind.
Yes, and MLS should start earlier next season. We'll see when CONCACAF is scheduled. Hopefully they'll work with us a little bit so we're at least playing matches before we have to start CCL.
Maybe the CBA can do something about this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fix it.
And another big incentive for winning tonight, we will face the winner of Orlando NYCFC. And so, that's either way, that's a tough opponent. But if we face Orlando in a semifinal, that's
Do you think at this point NYCFC is a bigger rival for us, like on the pitch?
We have faced them in the playoffs, and the record is actually pretty easy.
Like if you take social media out of the picture,
yeah,
I feel like NYCFC is actually more like there's more intensity there.
Those games are intense, and they're a tough opponent, and they bring in some big players too. They bring in some good young talent. Yeah. So in terms of purely football, I think that's the better match. But in terms of everything, Orlando is it, I think, and Orlando's a little better this year at least. So it's like
we both keep getting knocked out in the U.S. Open Cup before we have a chance to meet each other.
Right.
So
maybe this will be the year.
It may be destiny. I know that the odds in Vegas right now, or wherever they do the odds right now, I think I was listening to Soccer Down Here. They said that NYCFC are not the favorites. So Orlando is the favorites. It's in Orlando. And so they're actually quite a bit ahead of NYCFC in the numbers. So
that's interesting.
Hey, they keep saying Orlando's different this year. I guess they'll see if they can prove it.
A lot of Orlando fans are in Vegas right now.
I don't know. I feel dirty talking this much about Orlando, so I feel like we should move on.
Yeah, you're right. So not available for us for this match. Of course, Pogba is going to be out for at least the next 3 weeks. Tito is still working his way back, as is Barco. Barco might be ready after Seattle this weekend. Kevin Kratz, George Bello, those are long-term injuries. They're still out. And so, I'm going to jump in with the predicted 11. Do you want to jump in with some thoughts as well?
I think they should put Lorenowitz in as a striker. Like, just get that angry energy out.
Yeah.
Just put him up there. He's
always taking these long shots. Let's put him in
DeBoer's system, sometimes he's way up there anyways.
Yeah.
So he's like, running into the box now and stuff. So, yeah, why not? But
yeah.
I think Larry will start, though.
Yeah, actually. And so I
would slot him in there, in the middle.
So we're going to get into the predicted 11. Yeah, and so goalkeeper, Guzan, probably.
Why do you always got to start with the goalkeeper? I think we should start. This time we should start with Larry and then work our way around him.
Okay. He's really the straw
He's the centerpiece.
that the string. Let's be clear. Yeah. So Guzan's going to be starting in goalkeeper, I think.
This is a good callback though to our chat questions because we did have a question that whether Ambrose will start over Parkhurst.
I have both Ambrose and Parkhurst in this lineup. I think this is going to be a funky lineup. I think Escobar needs to rest. He just plays every match and is destined to accumulate a yellow card in every single match. But I think Ambrose will be experimented at right back. Then I think we have LGB and Parkhurst in the middle, and on left back is Shea, who has not started in 2 weeks now.
So you don't think Escobar? You think Escobar's going to get a rest?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, just to be clear, I think this is about rest. He plays every match, and he's such an important player for Atlanta.
Yeah. I think that Escobar will play.
Okay.
I think that we'll see, probably see Ambrose. I don't think he had the greatest game the other day, but he's just gotten back.
Sure, yeah.
As well. I don't remember seeing him play for Atlanta United 2 leading up to this, so I think he just came right out of training.
I think he played a couple times.
Maybe did?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was a couple times.
Either way, coming back from injury is always tricky, especially a long injury. So I think we'll see him get time. It's important, I think, for him,
for sure.
Fitness-wise. And I think you're right. I think Parkhurst is going to be in there because other than putting Larry there, who are you going to put in the center?
Exactly.
With LGP, and you surely we're resting Miles at this point.
That's the thing.
Right?
Miles has to rest at some point.
He's played. Just in the same sense, I could see where you're saying that with Escobar.
Yeah,
too,
exactly.
I just feel like with the lack of depth at that position, that we may still see him.
I mean, this is just me kind of being hopeful more than anything else. But yeah, Miles even played the previous Open Cup matches, so he really hasn't gotten a rest. And so I personally would like to see him rested for this match. Now, getting into the midfield, now I wrote down Rometty. I'm actually going to change this to Lorenowitz and Hyman in the middle. I think that, that's your pivot. Hyman, of course, would be more of the ball carrier, getting forward a little bit. Lorenowitz, I think, starts in the midfield, will be pretty stationary, be your defensive midfielder, your kind of check back when we have the ball.
Yeah, and shout out to FaZe Atlanta United for that last question about Ambrose over Parkhurst. And Justin Johnson, we did get your question in chat. He said, who do you think Hyman replaces tonight?
Yeah, so I think he's like the Nagby player in this lineup.
I think that's the consensus across when you read across different sites, The Athletic and Dirty South Soccer, and you talk to people, is that he's not quite a 10. He's kind of in between.
Right.
We don't quite know how he'll fit in the system. And so I'm really curious to see how he plays in our system. How much does he track back defensively?
Right.
Is he more similar to PT in that regard, where he's not that guy that expects to do that defensive work, nor does Frank expect him to do it in certain formations? And how would that work against a very physical team today in St. Louis? So
exactly.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah. So now getting to the wings, I have Dion Pereira and Justin Miriam starting. I think Pereira, I think the other guys need rest. And for Miriam, I mean, he's hot. He's been legitimately one of our best attackers since.
Do we know what the wrist? I know he said this was for the fans. He had the white wristband around his thing, and when he celebrated, he pointed to it, and he said in a tweet that it was for the fans. So I don't know if that's a thing that's going to continue on or what, but that was pretty cool that he did that to kind of show appreciation. I don't know if something's written on there. Be interesting to see if maybe someone in the press ends up asking him to find out. If anybody knows, let us know.
If he scores again, then we'll have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And up top, I have Vasquez and Joseph. Somebody asked if Vasquez would be replacing Joseph. I actually have them both because I think they play well off of each other. I think Joseph's been doing a lot of creating this season. Vasquez is going to give you hard work and will actually go to the wings a lot. So I think they can actually work with each other really well. And against a physical team, having a big body in there, I don't know. So I like Joseph and Vasquez to start up top. Could kind of run out a 4-4-2 of sorts in this match.
Hey, with as physical as it's going to get, I have no problem with having those two guys up top together. So, and they're going to float in and out, and it's going to create chaos. So why not? It'll be interesting.
Listen, Pulis managing 4-4-2. This is just good old England.
Yeah, and we know they I don't know if St. Louis is going to come out of the gate just freewheeling. I know New Mexico United's more of that style. St. Louis, I would imagine, against us is going to bunker and counter and try to get those set pieces. So we really need as much of an attacking force as possible up there. Because sometimes Joseph can get lost in the weeds.
Yeah.
He's trying to come back and do that creating, and then there's nobody up top.
Exactly. Yeah. So that, I think, does it for our match preview. I don't know if you had any other thoughts in terms of the lineup or what to expect tonight. Yeah.
No, I mean, please, no lighting blades.
Please, I have to go to work later, guys. Please, can the weather be okay?
And for those of you guys that made it out to the match, awesome, good on you. It's always a trip for many people.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you live in Kennesaw, it's not. But I've been up there 3 times now. This is the first time I think I'm not up there, but we're happy to join you here in the live stream and glad that you attended and joined us. Yeah.
And so on that note, we're going to end with our question of the day. Now that we've done squad goals, tats, and so forth, what would you like to see us do next? Get in the comments, let us know, tweet at us. We always listen, we read everything. We appreciate the support. And
yeah, and what kind of budget can you provide us? No. With every suggestion.
How much money? Just throwing it out there.
I'm just saying, if it's a $10,000 concept, it might take us a while to get to. Realistic expectations.
Yeah. And so that's it for us today. Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash a like, share this video because it really does help us. I'm Mark. This is Jay. Thank you guys so much for watching.